The top stories tonight in Y News. The Bureau of Immigration warns foreign nationals over fake operations orders circulating in chat groups on the internet.
A lawmaker wants to decriminalize libel, but only for legitimate media, excluding the so-called pseudo-journalists.
Octa Research Group says there is an increase of positivity rate in the National Capital Region.
And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un aims to have the strongest nuclear force in the world.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, November 28, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Parlene Delgado.
First in the news, the Philippine National Police commits to supporting the Department of Interior and local government's Buhay Ingatan Droga'y Ayawan or BIDA program. PNP Deputy Chief for Administration Police Lieutenant General Rodel Sermonia said they will implement the strategy of the said program in battling illegal drugs. Leah Ilagan reports.
The Philippine National Police or PNP officially rolled out the police component of the flagship program of the Department of Interior and Local Government or DILG against illegal drugs dubbed as Buhay Ingatan Droga'y Ayawan or BIDA program. PNP Deputy Chief for Administration Police Lieutenant General Rodel Sermonia said the entire police force will extend unwavering support to the newest nationwide anti-illegal drugs advocacy program. Sermonia said the BIDA program will focus on two strategies, which is supply reduction and demand reduction.
When we say supply reduction, it focuses more on police interdiction or operations by the law enforcement. Not only the police, but by the National Bureau of Investigation, the PIDEA, and other law enforcement agencies of the government. Sasabayan po natin yung aggressive and chilling operations natin. That is supply reduction. Sa demand reduction naman, gusto natin putulin talaga yung ugat. Yung ugat, sanga, lahat na. Yung buong puno na kung saan nandun yung nagpapatronize ng supply ng droga.
They will also apply the whole of nation approach by engaging the community, other government agencies, non-governmental organizations such as advocacy groups and others.
So, papasok dyan po yung kung may awareness, aggressive awareness, and effective awareness. Of course, yung house visitation, barangay visitation ng mga drug users ay gagawin din po ng mga BADACs natin, yung Barangay Anti-Illegal Drug Councils natin, along with our partners na nasa community, mga leaders po natin from the faith base. Diyan po papasok yung kasimbayanan na programa ng ating Chief PNP na ikukumbinsi po natin yung mga drug users for them to stop or to surrender voluntarily and to undergo the recovery and wellness program.
Sermonia added, by continuing cooperation of the different sector of the government, it is possible to attain drug-free Philippines in the near future.
If we start doing it now, I think we are going to have that strong or stronger finish in our fight against illegal drugs.
BIDA program was simultaneously launched on November 26 in Quezon City, Cagayan de Oro City, Cebu City, and Davao City. Leah Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Bureau of Immigration or BI warns foreign nationals over fake operations orders circulating in chat groups on the internet. The fake orders stated that immigration personnel are allegedly directed to inspect entertainment places in Manila, such as bars, KTVs, music houses, hotels, among others, to search for illegal aliens. The Bureau said such operation order is not issued by them. Immigration officers are not allowed to conduct random inspections to various establishments. The Bureau believes the fake order is being used by syndicates to scare foreign nationals to scam them. and any such instance must be reported to the authorities.
Meanwhile, two House committees created a technical working group to discuss and agree on provisions in a substitute bill seeking to create a Department of Water Resources. Lawmakers said a national department is needed for the country's water management. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
Water resources in the country are not properly utilized, according to Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda during a joint committee hearing of the Government of Reorganization and Public Works and Highways Committee. Representative Salceda said only 21% of the water resource in the country is utilized.
Doon naman sa isa na 2,200, I think that's almost triple what God gives China in terms of water. Pero wala tayong capacity to store it and utilize it. So, kaya kailangan din natin yung national water.
Representative Salceda will head the technical working group in hopes to consolidate the 35 filed bills for the creation of a Department of Water Resources. Under the said bill, the DWR will be responsible for policy formulation, planning coordination, development, and management of water resources in the country. The Department of Budget and Management also supports the said bill.
The DBM recognizes the need to create a department-level entity to rationalize the management of water resources in view of the fragmented and overlapping functions of government agencies po.
The agency said, however, that there are provisions that still need to be discussed, including the future of government agencies. The technical working group aims to resolve pending issues such as placing the National Irrigation Administration under the DWR, inclusion of sewerage systems under the jurisdiction of the department, as well as flood control planning. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, has reminded the public to take caution in buying firecrackers amid the proliferation of fake or illegal firecracker products and decorative lights without approval from the Philippine National Standard, or PNS, and Import Commodity Clearance, or ICC. The department also warned those who will be caught selling unlicensed products that it will be subjected to confiscation. Edna Dizon, the provincial director of DTI Bulacan, explained the products approved by the PNS are locally produced items that bear the Philippine Standard, or PS mark, found on the package of the product for guaranteed product safety and quality.
So under the rule po, bawal po talaga yung imported na mga Christmas lights o paputok. Kailangan po dumaan ito sa proseso ng testing ng ating Philippine National Standards. Kung hindi maiiwasan yung imported, kailangan may ICC po siya.
They urged the public to support locally made products with quality certification instead of buying imported firecrackers to ensure safety. Authorities reminded those who will be caught selling imported products without product safety markings that they may face a notice of violation and formal charges as lawbreakers.
The House Committee on Government Reorganization approved the draft of a substitute bill on the proposed National Government Right-Sizing Act. Under the said measure, government employment will be streamlined in order to provide better service to the people. The right-sizing bill will cover government agencies under the executive department, not including teachers and medical employees. The measure will also not cover military and uniformed personnel. Worker groups, however, said that the bill should be pursued with caution and proper assessment should be conducted.
Is aiming for the country to have the strongest nuclear force in the world. Mavian Dog will tell us why, live. Maeve?
LC, building the country's nuclear capabilities will protect the dignity and sovereignty of the state and its people, the North Korean president said as he promoted military officers on Sunday, November 27. Kim Jong-un's announcement came after a test firing of North Korea's largest intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, the Hwasong-17, on November 18, in response to what he called nuclear threats by the United States. According to Kim, the country's goal is to possess the world's most powerful strategic force that is unprecedented in the century, claiming that the Hwasong-17 demonstrated North Korea's ability to build the strongest army. The said missile, capable of reaching the U.S. mainland, according to North Korea's state news agency KCNA, has been awarded with the title of DPRK Hero and Gold Star Medal and Order of National Flag First Class for being the most powerful ICBM state. Meanwhile, LC, the missile tests, which are banned by Security Council resolutions, prompted the United States to call for a United Nations Security Council presidential statement to hold North Korea accountable. Back to you, LC.
Thank you, Mavian Dog, reporting live from Australia. Unprecedented protest against China's zero-COVID policy erupted to several cities across the country over the weekend. Ruth Bahe will tell us why, live. Ruth?
Yes, LC, protests over the strict zero-COVID policy spread anger in cities across China over the weekend, after the tragic fire incident in the western Xinjiang region killed 10 people, which was reported to be linked to China's strict lockdowns. Shanghai, Beijing, Wuhan, Chengdu, and Guangzhou are among the cities with ongoing protests. People came to the streets and in university campuses holding white sheets of paper as a symbolic protest against censorship, calling for lockdowns to end, chanting freedom will prevail, and others even having the courage to call for Chinese President Xi Jinping's removal in public. Frustration is high just over a month after Xi secured his third term as leader of China's Communist Party, with much anger directed at the Chinese leader. However, Beijing has justified the measure as both life-saving and essential to keep the healthcare system from becoming overburdened. Meanwhile, Chinese stocks have fallen sharply, with investors worried about the impact of protests on the world's second-largest economy. LC, China recorded 40,347 new COVID-19 infections on Monday, breaking the previous daily high. Thousands of cases in Guangzhou and Chongqing, making it difficult to control the outbreaks, with several cities around the nation also reported hundreds of infections. Back to you, LC.
Thank you, Ruth Bahe, reporting live from Vietnam. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Elsie. The Department of Social Welfare and Development Authority, or DSWD, together with the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples and Philippine Statistics Authority, kick off today the Civil Registration for Indigenous Peoples, or IPs. This program aims to recognize the basic rights of the IPs to a name and a nationality through the registration of birth and to allow IPs to avail government programs. Civil registration of IPs was first conducted in Zamboanga province, while DSWD plans to follow other places such as Cotabato, Davao, and Palawan.
After registering, they will have birth certificates, and they will be already a part of the community, meaning to say they can already receive benefits. Pwede sila PD beneficio ng gobyerno in all government agencies, not only DSWD. Because it's one of the requirements of the government. How can you prove that you're a Filipino citizen or you live and were born here if you don't have any birth certificate to show them?
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police, or PNP Chief General Rodolfo Azurin Jr. has ordered police commanders to frequently hold gun safety training for cops. This aims to remind PNP personnel to exercise caution in handling their own firearms at all times following the death of a police officer who has been accidentally shot by a fellow cop using his service firearm in San Pablo City, Laguna on Thursday, November 24. PNP Public Information Office Chief Colonel Redrico Maranan has emphasized the importance of having every policeman to be familiar with gun safety rules to prevent similar fatal accidents like this from occurring. In a statement, Maranan said that the PNP chief has directed their ground commanders to conduct the gun safety training on a weekly basis. He also added there is a possibility that a personnel may forget the skills on proper gun handling if they do not practice it from time to time. Meanwhile, PNP officer in charge and Deputy Chief for Administration Lieutenant Colonel Rodel Sermonia said the police officer involved on the death of the said cop will be facing criminal and administrative charges in connection with the incident, while the victim's family has already received assistance from the PNP. In a press briefing, Sermonia stated they will keep on reminding their personnel to be cautious and careful in handling their own service firearms to prevent the incident from taking place in the future.
A lawmaker wants to decriminalize libel, but only for legitimate media, excluding the so-called pseudo-journalists. Meanwhile, a group of fact-checkers advises the public to also be discerning in consuming and sharing contents online as part of the solution in fighting the spread of fake news. This report will tell us why.
Senator Raffy Tulfo is pushing for the decriminalization of libel, but only for traditional or mainstream media and not for what he describes as fake journalists. In today's Senate hearing on fighting proliferation of fake news in the country, several media groups and organizations renewed their long-standing call to decriminalize libel as it may be used to threaten journalists and send a chilling effect to free press. Tulfo agreed that it is high time to decriminalize libel, but not for what he calls pseudo-journalists who abuse their freedom of expression.
Marami po dyan nangyari ngayon, dyan po sa social media, yung mga tinatawag na attackers, collectors, na magbubukas ng channel and then magpapanggap na siya isang journalist, walang ginawa, maghapon magdamag, tumira ng mga politiko hanggang sa yung politiko tinitira niya, gumipap dahil ay nang mapapatuloy yung masakit na kasinungalingan, magbibigay ng pera sa kanya o kung kanino man. So those people should be exempted dito sa decriminalizing libel. Sana sila dapat ay kasama, ay kasuhan pa rin ng libel na makulong.
However, Professor Danilo Araw of the University of the Philippines Department of Journalism noted that in other countries, there are no distinction when it comes to the gravity of the libel offense.
Linawin natin na ang panawagang decriminalization, nandiyan na yan noon pa at hindi tayo nananawagan ng abolition ng libel. Ibig sabihin, nandiyan pa yan, pero kakasuhan ang periodista, blogger o sino mang ordinaryong tao ng civil suit. So mawawala na yung criminal component kaya hindi na makukulong. The worst thing that can happen ay papatawan siya ng multa. Ang kailangang tandaan din po kasi kapag meron tayong distinction between ordinary people and professional journalists, nadidefeat po yung purpose ng citizen journalism.
I see where you're coming from, citizens journalism. So where's that accountability? So sabi ko kanina, paano yung mga extortionist na nagpapanggap na sila journalist, mag-open sila ng kanilang blog, site o channel and then titira at mag-extort sa mga tao, sa mga opisyalis ng gobyerno.
Ellen Tordesillas of the Verifiles, one of the third-party fact-checkers of Facebook in the Philippines, noted that the solution against spreading of disinformation does not begin and end on professional fact-checkers alone. The group believes everyone should be a fact-checker.
Hindi sapat na ilagay mo lang yung responsibilidad of correcting falsehoods sa social media sa professional fact-checkers, di ba? We should develop healthy dose of skepticism. Yung pag may nakikita ka sa social media, huwag ka kaagad maniwala. Huwag mo i-click yung share na button kung hindi ka sigurado.
For Philippine Institute of Development Studies, the fight against fake news should not stop with trolls, but all the way up to their masterminds.
The political and corporate financiers of disinformation are hiding behind their trolls. They are anonymous. Ang nakopronta lang, usually yung mga trolls, no? Trolls who have made disinformation their livelihood. we shouldn't just penalize the trolls, but more importantly, the main architects behind this information.
Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
To help countries in high risk from suffering famine and drought, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky launched the Grain from Ukraine campaign. Marvi Delphine details why live. Yes, Marvi?
LC, on the annual Holodomor Memorial Day on Saturday night, November 26, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced the $150 million campaign in a summit, which he held in person in Kyiv alongside the allied nations. With a goal to ensure global food security, 20 countries, as well as the European Union, supported Kyiv in raising the $150 million needed for the initiative. In his nightly address, President Zelensky expressed the importance of food security to global stability, sharing the contributions of Ukraine to the United Nations World Food Program.
Завдяки нашій експортній зерновій ініціативі з 3 чорноморських портів ми відправили на світовий ринок близько 12 мільйонів тонн продовольства – 40 країн світу. Із цього обсягу більше 2,5 мільйонів тонн країнам, у яких не просто дефіцит продовольства, а жорстка криза. В рамках продовольчої програми ООН ми допомогли країнам, в яких буквально люди голодують або на межі.
According to President Zelensky, Ukraine is also currently preparing 60 ships to be sent off carrying grain to countries like Ethiopia, Sudan, Somalia, and Yemen, which suffer from famine and drought. The president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, showed her full support for the Grain from Ukraine campaign, commending Ukraine's commitment to food security despite the aggression of Russia.
So, we must continue to fight back against this. And your initiative, Grain from Ukraine, which has my full support, is crucial to our efforts. You are showing unwavering commitment to global food security, to international responsibility, and of course to solidarity with those most in need.
Elsie?
Marvi, what is the significance of the annual Holodomor Memorial Day in Ukraine?
Elsie, on November 26, the Ukrainian people commemorate the victims of the 1932 to 1933 genocide by famine imposed by then Soviet Union Premier Joseph Stalin. Now, on the 90th anniversary, Ukraine is suffering like they did before as Russia continues to pursue their genocidal war. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Marvi Delphine, reporting live from Australia. At least 7 people, including a newborn baby and 2 children, died in a landslide on the Italian holiday island of Ischia in Italy on Sunday. The island has been suffering heavy rainfall, which led to floods and landslides. 5 people were still missing, and dozens of emergency workers rushed to the island while rescue divers searched the waters off the coast. One resident described the event as a waterfall of water and mud, as buildings were smashed by the landslide and several cars were pushed into the sea. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
Some members of the United Church of Christ in the Philippines, or UCCP, filed a petition for the writ of amparo before the Supreme Court this Monday morning, November 28. They asked the protection of the court for the alleged red tagging against them. The petitioners said some military personnel have been monitoring them in their residence in Batangas. 2 of them were allegedly forced to surrender to the barangay for allegedly supporting the New People's Army, or NPA.
Pinapasuko po sila. They are being forced to surrender to the barangay so-called surrenderists because they are allegedly supporting the New People's Army.
Dumudulog po kami sa Korte Suprema dahil ang banta po sa aking asawa, si Pastor Edwin Egar, at kay Ronald Ramos ay sunod-sunod po yung imbitasyon. Hindi lang po isa, 4 na beses.
In other news, Octa Research Group says there is an increase of positivity rate in the National Capital Region, or NCR, and other areas in Luzon. From 7.9% positivity rate in NCR in November 19 rose to 11.11% in November 26. Recently, the Department of Health, or DOH, has detected 14 cases of Omicron subvariant BQ.1 believed to be highly immune evasive. Meanwhile, experts says that BQ.1 may result to a slight increase of COVID-19 cases in the country. This can be prevented by getting vaccinated.
Yung number of cases, maaaring umakyat, pero karamihan doon ay magiging mild as long as mataas ang antas ng pagbabakuna at yung paggamit ng ating boosters. And of course, at least natutuwa ako, nakikita ako marami pa rin ang gumagamit ng mask.
Dr. Edsel Salvania, infectious disease expert, also reiterated that COVID-19 vaccines in the country are still effective and can give protection to the public.
Effective pa rin siya in preventing severe disease. And nakikita naman natin to, sinabi rin ng WHO, patuloy pa rin ang proteksyon ng ating mga current vaccines, kahit hindi yung bivalent, yung monovalent, yung lumang bakuna, ay nananatiling epektibo sa pag-prevent ng severe disease.
The Oil Industry Management Bureau of the Department of Energy is still unsure if the rollback of petroleum products will continue next month, as manufacturers in the global market need to be considered. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Based on the announcement of the oil company players, there will be a rollback of petroleum products starting tomorrow, November 29. A rollback of nearly 4 pesos per liter of diesel, 85 centavos of rollback of gasoline per liter, and 2 pesos and 65 centavos per liter of kerosene. Oil Industry Management Bureau, or OIMB, attributes the rollback to the increasing COVID-19 cases in mainland China, which decreases the demand for fuel supply, the higher crude inventory in the United States, and the price cap imposed on Russian crude. The OIMB still cannot assure that the rollback will continue this December, especially this holiday season, that consumption of petroleum products is expected to increase in different parts of the world.
Hopefully, magtuloy-tuloy ang rollback. Pero yun nga, dahil nasa sitwasyon talaga tayo ng tightness ng supply, dahil dun sa mga ibang kadahilanan, alam naman natin na buong mundo ang epekto na nangyayaring kaguluhan sa Russia at sa Ukraine.
Meanwhile, the petitioner of the fare surge during rush hour on public utility jeep may withdraw their petition once prices of diesel decrease to 60 pesos per liter.
Naka-schedule na ng February 23, pero kung bababa naman ng mga 70, 65 by the time na magka-schedule ng hearing namin sa surcharge sa final namin, i-withdraw ko na lang dahil hindi na kailangan yung pagkabumban ng 60-65.
On February 2023, the Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board will conduct a hearing for their petition. The OIMB leaves the decision to the LTFRB and LTO on their fare hike petition.
So kung sakali man na may mga ganong petition yung ating mga kapatid sa transport sector, i-analyze naman yan ng kaukulang gobyerno, particularly yung LTFRB at LTO. Kung talagang ano pa ba yung mga hindi lang fuel, baka meron pang ibang factors na may chansang bumaba o tumaas.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International.
I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 20, it says, "Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him." Those are the reasons behind the news, November 28, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Carly Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.